The allure of France lingers in the consciousness of all travelers. Across the six corners of the hexagon are a little something for everyone. It starts in Paris, a place that was so loved it became cool not to love it. As you expound further, say hello to the bucolic countryside of Alsace, the castles of the Loire Valley, the luxuriation of the French Riviera, and finally, take a deep breath. In the French Alps. It can be difficult to do it all in one go, but each time you visit, you'll discover something different. Whether that be a new era of history, such as ancient Greek ports, Roman Catholicism, the Middle Ages, or the Renaissance. Maybe it's treating yourself to Côte d'Azur and Saint-Tropez. Or maybe you head into the mountains for an entirely different adventure. There are always new places to visit in France and exciting attractions to discover. They say you can't have it all. But in France, maybe you can. 10. Normandy. Along the northwest coast of France, Normandy is synonymous with modern history. The coast's lengthy beaches have become famous thanks to D-Day. And while the rugged coast harbors rich World War II history, it's just the beginning. Beyond the vast shores is a region steeped in literary history. There's the bucolic countryside that features not one but four protected cheese origins. But better than them all is Mont Saint-Michel, which stands along like a mesmerizing iceberg off the coast. Lovers of cheese can't pass up a cheese tour of Normandy. This will take you to the towns of Camembert, Livarot, Pont-l'Évêque, and Neuchâtel. Beyond their tasty creations lie charming towns that evoke welcome authenticity. 9. Gorges du Verdon. Calling the Gorges du Verdon the Grand Canyon of France seems like a stretch. And it is. But the canyon still belongs on your France itinerary. Gorges du Verdon descends 700 meters at a rapid rate towards the Verdon River with its rushing blue water carving it ever deeper. It's the largest canyon on the continent and its 25 kilometers of length creates an abundance of thrilling watersports and adventures. You can cruise the length of the canyon, marveling at the towering limestone cliffs. If this sounds too relaxing, then just switch the boat for a raft and ride the whitewater rapids. For some of the best views, however, you'll have to get about on foot, or even horseback. There are around 100 kilometers of trails that course along either side of the canyon, with endless viewpoints throughout. 8. Corsica. In the French Mediterranean, the island of Corsica embraces its surrounds. Enveloped with sparkling emerald water, Corsica has as much Italian influence as it does French. Known as the Island of Beauty, Corsica takes the best of both and boasts coastal towns backed by serene forests and granite mountain tops. It's no small, dainty island either. There are over 1,000 kilometers of coastline to explore and plenty of chances to get away from it all. Along these coastlines are turquoise waters that harbor beautiful underwater worlds. Chances to snorkel and even scuba dive are ever present. Days spent swimming are rewarded by captivating sunsets in Bastia, where you'll also find a great collection of restaurants and taverns. The next day you can mix it up by trekking into the forests and mountains that are affixed with snow in the colder months. 7. Bordeaux. Some great wine regions have made it into our list. But Bordeaux can lay claim to being the best of them. As the country's wine capital, there is an air of elegance to Bordeaux. This is elevated by the cocktail of 18th century architecture. Cutting through the center of town are the streets of Place du Parlement and Saint-Pierre. High culture mingles on these streets that are lined by chic cafes and outdoor seating to bathe under the sun. Before you venture and experience some of the area's best vineyards, explore the La Cite du Vin. This museum showcased the history of wine from around Bordeaux and is set in a captivating building. To get there, take a leisurely stroll down the River Garonne. Now you're all set to try the local tipple. Some of Bordeaux's best wineries surround elegant chateaux that make for the perfect wine tasting spot. 6. Lake Annecy. Chamonix may garner the most attention, but we believe the best of the French Alps lies surrounding the beautiful Lake Annecy. One of the largest lakes in Europe, it can also lay claim to being the cleanest thanks to its pristine high alpine surrounds. In the summer months, Lake Annecy is a dreamy destination. The sapphire-hued jewel sits enveloped in lush green mountains with the odd dash of granite. As the sun bounces along the lake, the azure waters become even more obvious and call you in for a dip. Such is its size, you can do more than swim. Kayaking and paddleboarding are popular, and you'll see several boats making use of the conditions to sail around. The views of the water are matched by the surrounding mountains, including the snowy peaks of Tournet Mountain. Any visit here should also take in the old town of Annecy, which is a picture-perfect alpine village. 5. Loire Valley. Teeming with castles, medieval villages and endless vineyards, the Loire Valley is the personification of art de vivre. Rolling effortlessly through the valley is the Loire River, the last remaining wild river in Europe. It all combines into an area that is now a designated UNESCO World Heritage Site. The landscape, alive with the life source of the river, creates head-turning scenery. Something that's only matched by the local culture, and one so steeped in history. At the center of this is the Château de Chenonceau. The 16th century masterpiece features the Grande Gallery, which spans 60 meters across the Cher River. Other famous chateaux include Chambord, Rivaux and Chinon. But it's the Loire River that connects it all. You can cycle along it for over 500 kilometers going from town to town, or you can simply do a bite-sized chunk. Either way, with destinations like Angers, Amboise and Nantes, there's no losing. 4. Chamonix. In the shadows of Mont Blanc, Chamonix has long inspired mountain lovers and fans of chalets alike. One of France's oldest alpine resorts, the splendor of its scenery is matched by the oft-bougie mountain culture. Epic skiing, mountaineering and the odd marathon fill the outdoor calendar in Chamonix. Such are the epic mountains, you can ski and board here year-round. While at the La Vallée Blanche Glacier, you can ski uninterrupted for over 20 kilometers. But you'll find just as much to do here if these thrills don't quite pique your interest. The area's year-round community and the delight of Chamonix town ensure there's much to do off-piste. Cafes line the pedestrianized main street, and the picturesque village will have you reaching often for your camera. 3. Marseille. One of Europe's oldest cities and France's second largest city, Marseille is a major Mediterranean seaport located off the southeast coast of France. Once a prominent Greek harbor, there remains a classic edginess to the city. But it's evolved into a much richer, interesting culture. At the core of Marseille is its old port, Vieux Port. Dominated by two historic forts, this bustling harbor is lined with waterfront cafes, shops, and bars. At the end of the harbor is the Quai de Belgies, where visitors can view luxury yachts, ferry boats and fishermen auctioning off their catch at the daily fish market. One of Marseille's best natural attractions, the Calanques, are a series of small inlets with astonishing blue water and majestic limestone cliffs. Other must-sees include Fort St. Jean, Le Panier, Museum and the Basilique Notre Dame de Garde. With some necessary exploration finished, head offshore to Château d'If, which was immortalized by the Count of Monte Cristo. Finish up with a brilliant sunset while noshing on bouillabaisse. 2. French Riviera. Encompassing a splendid stretch of the Mediterranean, the French Riviera is an opulent escape. In southern France, this region is soaked in sun most of the year. This exacerbates the color of the azure waters to heavenly status. You'll find a handful of enchanting towns along this coast from Saint-Tropez to Menton. These hug the coast with glee, forming a waterfront destination that has been drawing travelers since the 1800s. Although the Riviera is famous for the glamour of Saint-Tropez, Monaco, or the Cannes Film Festival, there are many other less well-known destinations, such as the perched villages of Ise and Saint-Paul-de-Vence, and the perfumeries of Grasse, to name a few. The Riviera has been the inspiration for many well-known artists such as Picasso, and many of their works are on display in local museums and art galleries. And then there's Nice. Arguably the best of the lot. There's something for everyone, from the region's patented beachfront to plenty of history. As you discover Nice, you'll have the pleasure of doing so along her cobbled streets and tree-flanked avenues. There are art galleries and museums and southern French cuisine for a flavor explosion in your mouth. 1. Paris. There may be no destination on earth that tops bucket lists as much as Paris. Yes, you'll find the crowds here. But it's a city that has stood the test of time. If anything, it's made it all the more romantic. The grandiose city, home to the Eiffel Tower and the Notre Dame Cathedral, still sparks the heart of even the most stoic traveler. It's a place of rich heritage, one that's written on the facades of buildings throughout the inner city. There are museums to discover, even beyond the Louvre, such as the Musée de l'Orangerie and the Musée d'Orsay. What's more, Paris boasts magnificent gardens such as the Luxembourg Gardens. But it's the people, the living culture that is most captivating. Any aimless wander down the Champs-Élysées, the Latin Quarter, or the Seine will attest to this. The best and cheapest way to get around Paris is on foot, and secondly, using the excellent underground train system, known as the metro.